You took on Obi-Wan Kenobi, Episode 3, Vader and Obi-Wan, after decades of us dying to see the confrontation. What were your challenges of trying to set that up? We'll start with how did you set that up, because you knew how important the setup would be.
Well, the whole team talked so much about what Obi-Wan was experiencing in that period of time, and what might be fun to see him adventuring with little Leia doing, and how he would respond to finding out what ultimately became of his mentee, Anakin, and we just talked a lot. We just talked a lot about the different ways that could play out, and what would be the most impactful, and what would be in line with these characters that sort of belong to everybody, that everyone has grown up with and feels such personal connection to, and how to make sure that felt really momentous and emotional.
Did you have any concerns, because the audience all have their own version of what would happen? Did you guys actually think about that? Oh my God, each audience member is going to have a different take on what should happen.
Of course, yeah. I think that's a moment that people have imagined in their own minds for so many years. So yes, we talked a lot about what the fans would expect, what they wouldn't expect, how to sort of balance those expectations.
And what about, obviously the payoff is Obi-Wan kind of gets his ass kicked. What was that? Was there any decision process on like how you want to end that fight, or did you always establish, no, we want Vader to totally dominate to set up, for later?
Well, we knew where the series was gonna ultimately end, so that it could set us up for, where the movie picks up. So we sort of worked backwards from there to determine what would be the most exciting midpoint for the series. And him being triumphant is not the most epic apex. So
it's a Luke Skywalker ending in Empire Strikes Back. Okay, so obviously you're a Star Wars fan, I can tell. What was your reaction when you saw the dailies or the first footage of the end?
Deb is such an incredible director, and Joby steered the ship of that episode so amazingly. So I was just thrilled. I mean, being on the set even just a little bit on the volume where they shot a lot of that was like a magic trick. It was amazing.
Okay, so you take on Star Wars, which is kind of iconic, but it doesn't seem to be enough for you. You wanted to take on Willow too. Go for two. How was like jumping into the world of Willow?
Willow is one of my favorite. I used to rent it from Blockbuster all the time, over and over, and it was just thrilling. And it has less canon than Obi-Wan. There's more to invent in that world, so that was a challenge and also really exciting. And Warwick is in the series, and we got to work with him, and he's so amazing. So it was just lots and lots of fun.
So a final question, because we do for students. How did you get started? What was your entry point into writing?
I did journalism, and I did magazine articles. I wrote a book, book about my teenage years, and that was adapted for television, and that's sort of what started off my career in film and television.
So you recommend it. So it doesn't always have to be you have to start from day one. You don't have to do the Spielberg thing at age 4 shooting. You believe that you can give advice to people that can actually transfer, or everything you do early in life might actually lead you to screenwriting.
Oh, absolutely. I think all those experiences have enhanced my writing and made my particular voice what it is. And so I would just encourage, if there are students listening, to keep doing the weird specific things that really make them jazzed. I think that ultimately leads to the best portfolio.